You've got it tuned to KEXP at 90.3 FM in Seattle, online round the globe at kexp.org. And we've got the Globetrotter Jim White live in studio. And at least your stories make me feel like you're a Globetrotter, Jim.
Yeah, it's a different globe than this one, though. It's an alternative universe.
You have always sort of lived in your own little world, at least through your songs.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bigger than I would like it to be. So I don't know if it's little. It's vast and expansive, and there don't seem to be any real state lines in them. It's just I wander and wander.
Well, we're happy whenever it brings you through Seattle in the KEXP studios. It's always a treat to have you, and you've got a couple of great, what I'm hoping anyway, are great musicians with you today.
I think that's a logical assumption.
I would think it is a logical assumption, but hey, why don't we give you all a try and see how you sound? It's Jim White live on KEXP.
You ready, fellas? Here we go. Let us sleep in poison ivy. Let us roll among the weeds. Let us wear our ragged hearts upon our tattered sleeves. Let us stroll among the strangers, contemplate their happy fates. Let us locate little dangers and notify the state. Hey, it's fun to cut the fool till life knocks you off of your pedestal. Though sorely schooled by the physics of time, still you gotta keep on trying to fly in your infinite mind. Your infinite mind. When life rustles up to lemons, it's time to make the lemonade. Let's disconnect the main antennas and just enjoy the masquerade. Oh, how the world will tremble as we servants become kings. No more the dangling puppets, now it's us who pull the strings. You've got to cross a desert of dopes to end up more Catholic than the Pope. But to sing that killing joke, man, you gotta hit the old punchline with your infinite mind. Yeah, your infinite mind. Bottom of life's well, there floats a truth and a lie. You know some folks get kind of crazy as they let that old bucket fly. But you and me, we'll be fine. Just let our times cross our path. We'll use our infinite mind, just kick old troubles ass. If ifs, ands, and buts were candy and nuts, well, we'd all have a merry old Christmas. But if your weapon of choice is that weird inner voice, well, fired up, be not dismissive of your infinite mind. Your infinite mind. I'm talking about your infinite mind. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. The time has come to rely on your infinite mind.
It's Jim White live on KEXP, Infinite Mind, from the brand new album Where It Hits You. And Jim and his band playing tonight at the Columbia City Theater here in Seattle. And my logical assumption did follow to a happy conclusion. You all sound fantastic together. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Well, Jim, I had to look it up. It seems like it's been a long time since you put out a proper Jim White album, Transnormal Skipperoo. It's been about 5 years, but the reason I was confused is you've been busy. You've been working on a lot of stuff, both musical and otherwise. Give me a, well, he looks, have I? Can you give a quick little summary of what's been going on since the last Jim White release anyway?
Well, I learned how to split the atom with chopsticks, and I patented that idea because, you know, chopsticks are in abundance and there's atoms everywhere in the energy.
So you're loaded now.
I solved all the world problems. No, I just, strange opportunities come up. My guitar player there, Dan, and I, we scored a Sam Shepard play for Juilliard Music School, which was tons of fun.
And that was a lot of music, wasn't it?
We wrote many songs for a variety of reasons, mostly because he likes music a lot. But yeah, we wrote a bunch of songs, and it was quite an interesting challenge. And then I did, I'm a visual artist, so I did a visual art show in Dublin of garbage, actually, that I found in dumpsters that was interesting garbage. And it was fun. I shipped it to this Tony Art Gallery in Dublin and put it on bulletin boards and arranged it in forms. And there it was. You know, one day it was headed for the landfill, and the next day it was probably about 100 yards from the Book of Kells in Trinity College. In this you know, it's a beautiful art gallery. And these fancy art people were regarding it and thinking, wow, this is interesting garbage. So the interesting garbage is sort of like a theme in my life.
That's a fabulous name for an album.
Interesting garbage. Well, there may have been some critics who have labeled my albums that, but the idea of redemption in things that are cast aside is really important to me. There's so much in the world which just kind of comes and goes without really considering its meaning.
That's kind of an apt description for your albums and your songs. You're such a master storyteller, and you spin stories, sometimes maybe coming from your life, a lot of time other characters, real and imagined. Tell me a little bit about the songs on your new record.
Well, you know, a lot of my career's been spent with, you know, acute case of navel gazing. As you get older, the navel starts to become flabby and hairy, and you don't want to look at it as much. So what you do, you look at other people's navels, or you look at navels from the past. So I'm thinking about friends of mine a lot on this record, thinking about people that I grew up with, some of whom didn't make it, and some of whom did. There's 3 or 4 songs about people I knew, and then just experiences like that song, Infinite Mind, sort of stemmed out of a weird experience I had. I was a cab driver in New York, and I had several bizarre encounters with the visual artist Peter Max. Not necessarily happy encounters. But in the final cab ride, he was talking to the people in the back, not knowing that our paths had crossed many times, and telling them about the infinite mind. And I thought, okay, that's because he gave me a good tip at the end of that fare. He didn't give me good tips before. So I figured the infinite mind must have done something good for him, so I was going to invoke the idea of it. But yeah, you know, as you get older, you have stories to tell. A friend of mine once said, young people sing about how they feel, and old people sing about what they remember. I thought that was a really, really, really beautiful. You know, some old people don't, but this old person does.
You mentioned, boy, you lived in New York a long time ago. That was back at the beginning of your career when you were just started putting out records. But I know you've lived in Athens now for quite a while, and there's so many wonderful musicians that live there. Did you mine from any of that local talent for this new record?
Well, yeah, Dan's all over the record. His partner, Marlon Patton, an amazing drummer and bass player. John Keane from Widespread Panic and, you know, REM producing. He was crucial on it. His daughters sang on it. It was a family affair. I'm very inclusive about these kind of things. I think the more the merrier. That's even if I don't have a part for someone to play, if I like them, I'm just going to invite them over and we'll figure something out. I had M. Ward play on a record like that. He was passing through town, and he called me on the phone, and I said, well, come over and sing on the record. And he said, what would you like me to do? And I said, I don't know, something. And he came and he listened to all the songs, and he said, I can only think of 2 notes that would go on one song. So for like an hour, he played these 2 notes.
I'd love to have Matt Ward just come over and make me pancakes.
Yeah,
that would work for me.
Yeah.
Well, the new album is phenomenal. It's called Where It Hits You, and it was well worth the wait. Yeah. And you're playing tonight here in Seattle at the Columbia City Theater. And if you've got some more songs, we'd love to hear them.
All right, let's do Chase the Dark Away, fellas, and then we'll go on from there. This is off the new record, Chase the Dark Away. It's the opening song. Thanks for having us, Cheryl. We drift along down rivers, past the towns where we were born. Past broken smokestack factories, graveyards of lost loved ones. We cast our dreams on waters dark. We watch them drift away. We turn our eyes heavenward, but we feel no need to pray. It's that day upon day, trial upon trial, wished upon, walked upon, smile we smile each day. Who's gonna chase this dark away? Life is short and aren't we devils by all that we've become? The inventory of our sins has struck us deaf and dumb. The stories we once lived to tell have long since faded gray. And no night of heaven's grace, what piper must we pay? It's that day upon day, trial upon trial, wished upon, walked upon, smile we smile each day. Gonna chase this dark away, chase the dark away. These fallen leaves might tell a tale of harder times to come, but let us not surrender to our fears and turn to run. For our dreams will rise up above the surface to mingle with the stars, then return as healing summer rain, balm to these ancient scars. It's that day upon day, trial upon trial, wished upon, walked upon, smile we smile each day. Yeah, that smile we smile each day. Yeah, that smile we smile each day. Gonna chase this dark away.
It's Jim White live on KEXP. It sounds incredible every time I see you live, no matter how long it's been since the last time. It feels like it's been too long. It's so great to have you here today. Do you have another song to play? Couple
Yeah,
more?
we have one that we'd like to dedicate to Kimya Dawson. When Dan and I were working on the Juilliard play, they wanted us to write about, well, it's a Sam Shepard play, but they wanted us to write about American archetypes. And I thought that she's a wonderful kind of new American archetype, this outspoken young hippie woman. My daughter, Willow, she's 13, and she played me some of her songs, and I just thought they were so beautiful. So this is a song called Keep It Meaningful, You All, which is an acronym for someone important's name. Some let the use describe the car, some let the wound define the scar. Some choose not to be who they are, some refuse to disappear. Some get rich and some go bust, some believe in God we trust. Some hold dreams like golden kites flying high up in the air. Me, I don't get used to things, I let things get used to me. Just light my fuse and you will see my self-esteem's like TNT. TNT, TNT, and that's why I like me. There's some who get it, but more who don't. There's those who will, and them that won't. But don't forget for a minute, we're all somehow caught up in it. 'Cause life is a collective scheme. Some ask the cops to give them a ride home. Some lie in ditches, talking on their cell phones. Some got no idea how to be alone. Some chatter like squirrels in a tree. But the facts don't lie, here's mud in your eye. My self-esteem's like TNT. 'Cause me, I don't get used to things, I let things get used to me. Hey. Yeah, me, I don't get used to things, I let things get used to me. Hey, me, I don't get used to things, I let things get used to me. Hey, me, I don't get used to things, I let things get used to me. Hey, me, I don't get used to things, I let things get used to me.
Lovely. Jim White on KEXP. You got one more?
Yeah, we can do one more, and we'll do this one in English. Oh yeah, it starts right there. You know, we were talking about friends and writing about other people other than myself, because eventually, you know, you have to turn your attention beyond yourself and consider others. A lot of artists, I think, miss that point. As you grow older, you need to think about others. This is a reflection about a friend of mine who didn't make it, a sweet person that I grew up with. It's called Brother's Keeper. It's on the new record. Did you hear the sad news about Harry? They wrote in the paper how he died yesterday. I'd been meaning to stop by and have a word with him, but things never did quite work out that way. As a kid, he was always big but shy. He grew strong as an ox, but Harry never heard a fly. I know the older boys would taunt him, but Harry'd just walk on by. He never much was inclined to take advantage of his sight. Now Harry Allen is dead, Lord, Harry Allen is dead. He gained 300 pounds and he wouldn't leave his house. No, he never got out of bed. Now Harry Allen's dead. I never said goodbye to my old childhood friend. At 20 I introduced him to a honey of a girl. She was a honky-tonk sweetheart, a real woman of the world. I didn't mean my friend no harm, I just wanted him to have some fun. But there was no right in that wrong. Once the trouble had begun, for so smitten was poor Harry that with a wedding ring in hand, he begged that girl to marry him. And when she laughed at that sweet man, well, Harry hung his head and he cried like some grievous wounded child. He walked back home and lay down in his bed. And Harry never rose again. Now Harry Allen is dead, Lord, Harry Allen is dead. He gained 300 pounds and he wouldn't leave his house. No, he never got out of bed. Now Harry Allen is dead. I never said goodbye to my old childhood friend. You know when God asked Cain, child, where'd your brother go? Where'd your brother go? Well, Cain shook his head, he lied and said, Lord, I do not know. Feel like a piece of cane took hold of me and seized my tongue that day. For as the years flew by, to my shame, me and Harry, we never spoke again. Now the funeral's tomorrow. Harry's dad just phoned to say they need 4 extra pallbearers. I sighed and said okay. It's past midnight and I'm wondering about the mighty and the weak, and how maybe Jesus Christ, he was wrong when he said, blessed are the meek. 'Cause Harry Allen is dead, Lord, Harry Allen is dead. He gained 300 pounds and he wouldn't leave his house. No, he never got out of bed. Now Harry Allen is dead. I never said goodbye to my old childhood friend.
Beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. And I'd like to point out, I've got some great musicians. I'd like to say their names so that
We'd love that.
they will be famous. This is David J. Carpenter, plays a lot with John Doe and Jill Sobule and people like that. He's out of L.A. and a good friend. And Mr. Dan Nettles from the band Kenosha Kid. Both wonderful musicians. I'm thrilled to be here with them.
And you all sound wonderful. And now that you've been shouted out on KEXP, for sure you will be worldly famous.
All right.
Just like our good friend Jim White, it's always wonderful to see you, and your brand new album, incredible. It was just out just about a month ago.
Yeah.
And Where It Hits You, and you're on Yep Rock Records. Speaking of John Doan, that seems like a fitting home for Jim White.
Yeah, it's working out really nicely. It's a Southern company, and that's cool. I was with the Walkabout for many years.
You were, and you were a sort of an anomaly on that label in terms of their roster.
I think I was more of an enemy. You know, I was a little sea creature. Yeah, I was, and they were kind, lovely people. But at a certain point, we had to kind of we took divergent paths, and we love each other. They're super kind people. But Yep Rock has really been wonderful, and they released my record on double vinyl. I have a double record like Pink Floyd.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, you keep mentioning we growing up and moving on, and change is all a part of that.
I think that's a good observation. I'll keep that in my mind.
Well, Columbia City Theater is your happy home tonight. That's a beautiful venue. You'll be playing with Chris Orlovsky, and I highly recommend folks go out and see that show. Jim is not to be missed live. Thank you so much for coming in today.
All right, Cheryl. Thank you.
It's great to have you. It's KEXP Seattle.